2% don't want to. Ah, why are you watching?
Wes. What's happening? What's happening, man?
I don't know, man. I'm still trying to kind of figure that out. What's happening with you?
Well, listen. We're starting off the show with a bit of a conundrum. I was like, hey man, ready to do a show today? And you're like, absolutely. We're gonna celebrate. It's time. We got our pre-orders in. Things are awesome. And I was like, fantastic. Let me make a nice monochrome, non-celebratory black and white thumbnail to celebrate. Like, this should have like rainbow flags and fireworks and. I mean, I don't know. This should be like somebody orgasming on the thumbnail, and here we are. It's black and white at best.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do, man? We're all doing this on the fly, by the seat of our pants. Everyone knows how excited and happy we are, Brian. How long have we waited for this to get here? It's been so long, and while we still have 97 days now, is it?
Yeah,
98,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's nothing, right? We've waited 10,000 days.
And now 43 years, Wes. I've waited 43 years for this day. It's mere minutes away.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Nice. Let's start the show.
Yeah.
Mark Smith in the chat reminds us there's red on the thumbnail as well. So it's black and white and red, not all over. A little piece of it. This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every single Monday, West Day, and Friday, right here, 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. We do it here for your visual pleasure and over on podcast services of your choice. That's right. I finally got this down. For your oral pleasure. My name is Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR Without Pro, and this gentleman over here, the love of my life, it's Wes Dillon from Virtual Strangers.
Brian, we did it, man. Talk about going from zero to hero in the course of 48 hours. I was distraught, Brian. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I felt even worse when Sony faked me out in my email inbox, only to save me at the 0 hour. And allow me to do what I needed to do and get some sleep finally after 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude, I'm so happy for you. There was certainly a moment of panic, and by a moment we mean days of panic, for you and Miles and plenty of other people in our community. And there's still, we're not out of the woods yet. There are still people who are like, I don't know how to get this. I'm in the regions that Sony is taking care of through Sony Direct, and I've still not gotten my invitation. So we understand, you guys, that a lot of you are not out of the woods, but overall it does seem like a majority of you, especially according to this ongoing poll that I've got, it says you got yours through Sony Direct or through another retailer. So congratulations, everybody out there who can sleep well. And for everyone else who can't sleep well, I recommend melatonin or just a little bit of diphenhydramine. You don't want to take too much because then you're moody the next day. Or at least I'm moody the next day, and I don't want you to be moody the next day. Alkanath Zuluith. I never get your last name right, but I love saying your first with the $2 tip. Says, got mine pre-ordered. So excited. Good to see y'all. Good to see you too, Alkanath. There's another tip. I just got to scroll.
Good to see all the cats showing up early today. Good to see a lot of familiar faces here.
Hell yeah. I didn't get this thing scheduled until late either. So thank you guys all for being here, despite the fact that notifications probably went out late. Man, Bear, Pig, Gamecat, right here with the $2 tip says, yes, I got mine and I'm stress free. Happy West Day. He left out a P on happy, I guess to balance out the fact that he left out the Ness and West Day. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
It's okay. If you want to spell phonetically, I'm all for it. We know what you mean.
Let's put it this way. Here are the letters he left out. P, Ness. He left out penis. So I think Man, Bear, Pig, Gamecat is trying to unconsciously deliver a message about penises. Sir Moses with the 5 rupees says, oh no, it just went off my screen. Hold on, I got it. I could not buy mine yet because Sony hasn't started the pre-orders in Brazil. I'm in a group with 100 people desperately waiting to make Sony richer. Isn't that the worst, man? Like, all we want to do is give them money. Please, Sony, for the love of God, let us give you money. And they're like, hold on.
How ironic is this? Because remember, it was only a couple of months ago that we were speculating PSVR2 pre-orders were coming because in Brazil they were, what was the word again, Brian? Do you remember? They were homologated.
Oh my God.
They were homologated in Brazil.
Homologated.
And this was something that we took as like, all right, so there's some solid evidence that this could be happening soon. And now here we are. Everyone in the world has the opportunity to pre-order except for Brazil. Tab.
Our hearts go out to you, Brazil. Twitcher, the single player game cat, right with the 2 quid, says, love and snuggles. Oh, a cat after my own heart. To any cats without a pre-order. Big fan of snuggles, and we totally agree with you. Love and snuggles to any cats that haven't gotten a pre-order yet. And honestly, whether it's, don't forget, there's a lot of cats out there, a lot of huge PSVR1 fans or people who are very curious about VR and would desperately want a PSVR2, but it's just, I mean, it's a lot of money, man. Some people don't have a PS5 yet, and so just dropping $1,000 or more all in one swoop is not an easy ask, and we absolutely understand that completely.
Yeah, and it certainly turned out to be a little more than we thought it was going to be, right? I mean, like, I go into this thinking 550, and I check out, and it's like almost $700. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's not what I was banking on.
Although during that pre-order phase, when we jump in, of course, we'll talk more about that in just a second. I was like, please, for the love of God, let me buy an extra pair of Sense controllers. How can I spend more money right now? Right? It's like, I just want to just get it out of the way, like like tearing off a bandage, right? Like, let me just do it, deal with it later, because that's how purchases work in the Brian Paul household. Is like, just think about it later when the credit card bill rolls in, deal with it then. And so, yeah, so if there was more for me to pre-order, I would have pre-ordered more. They were like, here's another pair of Sense controllers. Here's a super long extension cable for your PSVR2 headset. Instead of 14 and a half feet, it's 30 feet or something. I don't fucking care, man. I'll buy everything right now because you got me on the hook, Sony. You got me on the hook. Here I am. I came in during the pre-order, and I'm buying what you got. End of story.
I was the same way. Initially, I wasn't going to get the charging dock. I was like, I'll just charge the controllers. No big deal. And then if I want the dock later, I mean, that thing's not going to really be back ordered, is it? I'll just pick it up. But then I got in there and I was like, you know what? I'm dropping all this money already. Why not just go ahead and get the thing? I'm not going to want to plug these things up. So we just went ahead and bought everything that they would sell me. I bought.
Yeah. Yep. By the way, Twitcher, shout out to Twitcher, who in our Discord today finally had a come to God moment with Resident Evil 7, fully aware now that it's the best PSVR game ever made by a mile, and on top of that, maybe one of the best games ever made by a mile when played in VR. He put down a big dissertation of his thoughts on that game, because if you don't know, you guys, you can join our Discord by clicking the link in the description. And he and I guess some of the cats were doing Resident Evil 7 as part of the backlog club, meaning a bunch of cats get together and they play some games that have been sitting in their backlog for a while. And I guess Resident Evil 7 was part of this because he had a lot of good things to say about it. So hats off to all the cats who finally played Resident Evil 7 for the first time. Miles, we're paying attention, and I hope you're paying attention, because we're not going to let you get into the PSVR 2 generation without completing that game.
It's the ticket. That's how you get through the door, bro. You want to meet us on the other side of February. You got it to do. Get busy.
In all fairness, I do think that is Miles's problem, is walking through the door. As we all know, walking through the first door in Resident Evil 7 is possibly one of the hardest things you'll ever do in your life. It's just a big black space, and it is fucking scary. Right. But yeah, I think he's still in the laundry room. I see Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry in the chat. Henry, who of course does the timestamps for this show. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that. We love you for it. Many snuggles to you and the missus. I asked him just casually in an email. I said, "Hey, did you get your pre-order?" Right? Hey, did you get your pre-order? 6 words, dude. Talk about a dissertation. I get the longest story ever. There's so many ups and so many downs. I went on a roller coaster ride reading Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry's story about his pre-order. Henry, let me know in the chat if I can just fucking read that to everybody, because there's a lot of stories out there, man, but I don't think anybody's got the story that Henry has. Like, it is a roller coaster ride of emotions, and I would love to take everybody on that. Dude, Mako XL with Canadian $5 tip says, hopefully a Ni no Kuni Wizard Edition pre-order situation doesn't happen in late February, eh? I don't think many people in the chat know that reference Mako. But yeah, anybody who bought the Wizard edition of Ni no Kuni knows we were all very excited for that. And they, due to some error, very few of them got printed, and a lot of people got screwed and didn't get theirs. Do you happen to see the next tip, Wes? Do you see that on your scroll? I lost
see
it.
Professor Lilith. Is that the one you're talking about?
It's got to be. Yes, it is.
One before. Okay. Professor Lilith says, vote in the Discord now for Sunday's multiplayer. Rush VR, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Zenith. Vote, then join the fun at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We had some news from Zenith today, Brian. Did you catch that?
Oh, today from Zenith? Oh, crap. I was too busy.
Well, I saw it today. Maybe it was earlier news.
Is this regarding their PSVR2 release?
It is.
Yes, indeed. I did see that, which is why let's talk about Sunday's multiplayer for a second. Rush VR, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Zenith. Huh. Zenith, yep. What's your vote? If you were to vote for which game we all play Sunday on 2 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, that's a good question, man. I really dig Rush VR, and I feel like it's an underrated game. Up to 8 people in one session, and it's great. There's a lot of levels. There's a lot of variations on each levels and different routes you can take. I love Rush VR. So yeah, but if you want something with a little meat on its little more meat on the bone, Zenith, of course, would be. There is no limit. You can bring all your friends to that, and there's an endless supply of menial and menial tasks for you to go complete. So yeah, I don't know. I would vote for one of those two, but again, I haven't played Bridge Crew, so maybe it's the best game ever.
Yeah, Bridge Crew's phenomenal. It is tough to get the hang of, in my book at least. But it is very, very fun. I'm with you though. I think Rush VR would be my number one choice, just because it's easy to get in there. Kind of like you're going to crash into the rocks your very first time, and then just have to wait for everyone to finish the race. But that's fine. Like just know it's going to happen. But it is fun. There's nothing else like it. I love the wingsuit racing. It's just a lot of fun. But I will say that if you don't end up playing Zenith this Sunday, I would say it's time to get in there. It's time to get in there, create your character, start leveling up, get the gist of it, get the hang of it, even if you're not planning on spending the next 100 hours of your life in it. I would say that because it is coming to PSVR 2, with a free upgrade, improved graphics, improved controls, obviously. I mean, that goes without saying, I think. As soon as the game comes to PSVR 2 from PSVR 1, you can automatically say improves controls because you're not using the Move controllers. But they seem like they're giving it a complete overhaul. Did you see the trailer, Wes? What did you think of those updated graphics for PSVR 2?
I think it was noticeable. It was incredibly noticeable. I would say that would be how I would frame that. But to be honest, man, the graphics were never anything I was really down on. I mean, they weren't great, but they weren't a drag on the game or anything. I'm excited for more content, more character classes. This is what excites me, and I know all that stuff's coming.
Yeah, I mean, it always had like this kind of anime style to it, and which is fine. Here, I'm fixing Wes here. I went over to this screen. I guess I was not ready for Wes to be on the show. There he is. Now he's normal size. So if you look at these graphics, I mean, it definitely has. Jay Meow in our Discord keeps comparing it to Fortnite, saying this game is like comparable to Fortnite now, or at least similar looking. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it is great to hear how much of an improvement a lot of people seem to think it is. I love the anime art style in this. I always thought it had a nice look to it. One of those where, because of the great art style, even if it didn't look great technically, it all kind of came together and still looked really good. So I would say it's time to get into Zenith, man. Like I said, even if you just to get through the basic stuff, and just sort of get the hang of it and get your character kind of up to speed, then once it launches on PSVR 2, I think this is going to have a huge second life, and I think we're going to be spending a lot of time in this game over the next few years.
Launch title now with the free upgrade. I found it interesting though that they were kind of advertising it as like you can pre-order it now, but just go buy the PS4 version. It's a free upgrade. You can buy it now. You could pre-order it months ago. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Professor Willett, for reminding us about the Sunday multiplayer. It was awesome to hear. And it's just good. It's just one more great reason to join the Discord, because there's again so many games in everybody's backlog that have just been forgotten about, and you know some of them you downloaded and maybe you didn't even play. You purchased it or you jumped into once. There was nobody playing. This is the way that you can finally make the most of those PSVR1 games, and some of these are not going to get updated for PSVR2, I'm sure. So play them now while you still can. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Firebird Old School with the 100 Sekiro says, "Good work as always, boys. Cheers in some triple IPA." What's triple IPA? I know what an IPA is. I guess it's
3 of them.
I mean, I know what double fisting is. I just don't. I don't know. I have so many questions. Firebird Old School.
You got to practice, dude. You can do 2 in a hand easy. Like I could do it like a quadruple IPA, no problem.
I guess that's true. I mean, I waited tables, man. I can carry easily, 3 bottles in one hand. So I don't know.
See, you can do it.
Looper the Underground Gamecat with the €2 says Zenith also gets pets tomorrow. Oh, that's coming way faster than I thought it would. That's what she said.
She did, but not to me.
I do. I can't wait to get back into Zenith because I feel like I've been away from it for so long that I've missed a couple of the most recent updates. And so when I finally get back to it, because I don't think I'm getting back into it tomorrow for pets, but I think when I finally do get back into it, it's going to have pets and another character class and all these new missions and whatever else. And so I think by the time I get back to it, it's going to feel like a huge deal.
I think there's a few games like this where PSVR2 is going to be the impetus for me revisiting games that I haven't played in a very long time, and very likely to be a whole new experience. Zenith being one, No Man's Sky being another one. I mean, there's probably going to be over time countless numbers of these games that are significantly better than they were the last time I played them.
Sorry, I almost missed. Oops. There we are. Almost missed Sean Turner's $5 tip. Says, has anyone ordered from Sony directly? I'm assuming he's asking prior to this because, as the poll said, most of us ordered directly from Sony. He says, will it come early? We don't need to make any jokes. I think everyone's on the same page with that one. Sean, I talked to some of the cats over on Discord. Some people bought their PlayStation 5s over there from Sony themselves. We came on launch day, did not, or who was it? Was it Sonic that bought it after launch from Sony Direct? It only took 3 days to arrive, so it doesn't seem like they have a huge issue with shipping. And I would assume that even though this is the part that scares me, Wes, and I think it scares you a little bit too. And by a little bit, I mean a fucking whole lot. When we pre-ordered, it said, will arrive launch week for any time from the February 22nd to, what did they say, the 29th? It was something. It was like
yeah. There was a 6-day window. So that 28th, I think, was the last one.
And so, I mean, obviously we really, really hope we get these on launch day. But I think that message is there just sort of to ensure that, hey, if people don't get it on launch day, that no one's freaking out,
Well, I was very relieved, Brian, because I was in that 11 o'clock window that they sent out, the second wave of emails, which came the day before pre-orders. Thank you, Sony. Well, I guess I shouldn't be too salty, but man, they could have sent that wave a little earlier, couldn't they? Anyway, yeah. I digress. I was in the 11 o'clock window, or I was supposed to be in the 11 o'clock window, but I ended up ordering it like, I don't know, 10:15, and I went straight in. I didn't have to wait in queue for more than a minute. I went straight in and ordered and was done. The whole process took me like 5 minutes. It was beautiful, glorious. And then I finally had it done under the belt.
Yeah, I was in the exact same boat. Well, not the exact same boat, right? Because I got my invitation the minute they went out. I was super lucky to be in that first wave of people who got emails. And so, yeah, I guess the window opened for me to pre-order 10 a.m. Eastern. And I woke up, I've had a problem lately where I've set alarm clocks and they just don't fucking go off, right? Like major problem. And so they're either going off. Yeah. The problem is it's my Echo Show. So, so I call her by name and I just say snooze, and I do that in my sleep, or I say stop instead of snooze, and just turns off. I know that's what's happening, but I don't remember it. Right. So I got to start setting multiple alarms on multiple devices. But so I had set my alarm for 9 a.m. and I just slept in, and I woke up and it was like 9:40 when I just woke up naturally, and I was like, oh my god, what time is it? And I ran to my computer and even though my pre-orders weren't supposed to open for another 20 minutes, I said, well, let's just see what happens when I click the link, and it let me right in. No, not even a queue, not even a 2-second queue. Just let me right in and let me buy it. Everything was fine. So
people are saying I'm a bit quiet here. Let me know if I need to turn the gain up a little bit, or if it's just whoever it was that said that. I don't know.
Interesting. I mean, I can do it from my end here. So I'm watching the levels and they look okay, but I don't. You know what, man? Like we're here to please. So give me a little check 1, check 2, Wes.
Check 1, 2, syphilis. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Right. So yeah, basically my whole point in even bringing that up is my thought process is order first, get yours first. So I was super relieved that I didn't have to wait an hour while the people who got the email 2 weeks ago put their order in. So I feel like even if some of them do go out late, Brian, if there's any justice in the world, we'll get ours first.
Yeah. If there's any justice in the world, I think we've proven pretty much every single day in the entire course of human history, we're going to be waiting until late 2023 to get ours. We're just going to be watching other channels and being like, hey, tell me more about that game.
I just keep waiting on the world to blow up. Yep. Like I put my pre-order in and now I'm seeing like missiles landing in Poland and I'm just like, damn it, guys, could you just knock it off for a few months, please? Let me play Rush of Blood 2 and then you can go right back to it.
Yep. I know, man. I'm the same way. I just feel like I'm on the 14th floor of my building and I'm waiting for a train to just fucking drive straight through my apartment somehow. Like something bad's going to happen. I know it. That's how my life has always been. I know we got a new tip here. We got the MarvelSod with the $50 tip. Yeah, thanks, dude. Appreciate the generosity. I've worked for a couple of years and luckily landed on a day when I can watch live. Welcome. My pre-order went nice and smoothly, and I look forward to future Gamecasts. Thanks to everyone for being awesome and real. A great community. Thanks, MarvelSod. That's awesome to hear. It's been good, man. It's been really good. I will say, I told everybody in the pre-order video, hey, it's going to be real difficult to make videos updating you on which retailer has them available to buy. Like that, you know how long it takes to make an edited video, Wes. It's some hours minimum. Like you can't make an edited video in under 2.5 hours, I think. Maybe you can. I've never been able to do it. Even my 2-minute breaking news reports tend to be about a 2-hour process. And so like, I was just like, I'm going to be wasting my time if I just keep putting out these videos, updating people on where they can buy it, especially when shit might sell out. And so dude, hats off to everybody over on Discord, because I mean, I thought I was going to be like Googling all day and looking up different sites and looking up sites for different countries and trying to find out when pre-orders were dude, cats from all over the world were on top of this shit and posting links all day long over on our Discord. I just want to give a huge shout out to all the cats who were helping out all day long. I mean, just incredible. There's no way I could have done that. Fucking love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, if it weren't for these cats, well, let me just say, I sold a headset just based on the work that these people were doing. Like my colleague Todd, Eric's co-host over at Q2C, he's kind of been on the fence. Like, I don't know if I want to get a PSVR2 or not. He's all in on the wireless Quest thing, right? That's his whole deal. Quest and PC, he's not really bothered about PSVR2. Apparently doesn't really care all that much about games, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, he lives in Canada, right? He lives in Canada, and he was kind of our plan B. If we don't get to pre-order, Eric lives like 2 miles or 2-hour drive from the border. We're just going to go to Canada, get some PSVRs and come back. But anyway, pre-orders went out. We ordered ours. I come over just to celebrate on the Discord. I noticed the Canada link's up. I send Todd the Canada link. And of course, Todd can't resist. He orders one. So now he needs a PS5, but he's got the headset pre-ordered.
So I think that's a very common story, Wes. A lot of people were complaining about the price. A lot of people were complaining about the wire. A lot of people complaining that the launch lineup isn't good enough for them to put down the money. And then it just seemed like none of that mattered the day that everybody got their invites or the day that pre-orders went live. I just don't think anybody could resist. And I mean, I don't really know what to say about that other than I don't know how I would have resisted. The price, was a shock at first for me, but it wasn't anything that was going to keep me from buying it. The launch lineup so far, I mean, like I'm very, very happy with the idea that we're getting Rush of Blood 2, Village, and Horizon. Everything else is just fucking bonus as far as I'm concerned. And so I don't know. It's just been interesting to kind of watch the transition and watch people's mindsets evolve or change as the messaging slowly gets out there, and then of course they become available to purchase. How do you?
Yeah. We've seen a lot of that already, and I think that's going to continue to be the case over time as more gets revealed.
Okay. This is perfect. All right, we got two tips, and the second one definitely brings up a question that I wanted to ask you, Wes. But the first one, Jim Perona with the $5 tip says, "Never got my invite, but just got a PlayStation 5 and will eventually get the PSVR2. I'm sure. Looking forward to being a bigger part of both of your communities." Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Right. This happened with PSVR1 as well. It was definitely
Jim Perona been around for a while, by the way. So shout out to Jim for hanging out and showing up today.
Absolutely. I think this is going to be a common story. It was for PSVR1. A lot of people said they watched without Parole for years before they finally bought their PSVR1, like figuring out what games they were going to buy and, keeping kind of like a mental checklist of the games that they wanted to play. And when they were enough, they finally dove in and got all the games that they wanted on sale. And so I'm sure we're going to see that quite a bit on PSVR2 as well. Sean Turner.
I cannot relate.
My bad.
I was going to say, I cannot relate. I watched PSVR Frank for about 3 days and then ordered mine.
And how many days after you got your PSVR did you keep watching PSVR Frank? Sorry, that was a horrible dig at a nice guy. I love making fun of Frank. I actually Frank and I get along real well, and but I don't know, man. I just fucking love taking jabs at his channel.
Well, I watched Frank all the way up until the point that he abandoned all of us. So we'll just say that.
Oh. But he didn't abandon First Contact, right? And that's the important thing.
Oh no, he certainly didn't do that.
Hopefully he's making those games that they make even better. Sean Turner with the $2 tip says, "I think PSVR2 will sell a lot." This is the question of the day, Wes. Well, I didn't put it in the run of show, so it's not really the question of the day. But a lot of people are saying, "Hey, this doesn't seem to be sold out on any retailer that were selling them." Right? I don't know if Amazon Canada is out. I don't know if JB Hi-Fi in Australia is out. But every single time I've checked, long after pre-orders went live, and Australia was the first one to go live. They were super early. Like they were like 16 hours or something before the US went live, I think. So they got their pre-orders kicked off way before we did. And their pre-orders over there still aren't sold out. How do you think it's selling, Wes? I mean, all we have is, anecdotal evidence that everybody in our community bought one or is trying to buy one. But that's I mean, this is when anecdotal evidence means literally nothing, right? Because it's more about what the rest of the world is doing.
Well, it's kind of presumptive to think that Sony's going to cut the pre-orders off at any point, right? Because they can always ramp production to meet demand. So I don't know. I mean, there's really nothing out there right now to indicate whether it's selling well or not. But we can, in real time right now, check and see if they're still taking pre-orders because we are within the window. So bear with me just a moment, and I will tell you if they're still live. I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
Let's see here. PlayStation VR2. Congratulations, you've been selected. Access event. Come on. You can do it. It's thinking about it. Add to cart.
Very interesting.
There it is.
Well,
so I don't know. I think you can ask whether or not we think it's selling a lot or not, but that's all relative to our expectations. And what we consider a lot might not be what you consider a lot, Brian, might not be what Sony considers to be a lot. And really, that's all that matters, is how does it perform versus what Sony expects it to do. And I think that hopefully it will at least do as well as they're expecting.
Exactly. Paradise Decay in the chat with the 2 quid says scalpers are selling pre-order emails for 1,000 quid. Is it just
I got one.
Is it just the emails, or is it or are they actually ordering it and then selling their actual pre-order? Here, you know what? I think this is an excellent question. I think maybe we should head on over to our good friend eBay's site and see what they have to show us.
That's a good idea.
All right, let's go to eBay.
Great idea.
Here we are. We're on eBay, Wes. It happens that fast. Yeah. It's nicer here. The lighting is way improved.
It smells good.
It doesn't smell like dirty pots and pans in my non-existent kitchen sink.
Here's the thing. Let me just say this before we even go down this road,
Yeah.
okay? Do not pay someone for their email, because this order that you would place through their email would be going into their account, and they can change the address at any moment. So as soon as your credit card or whatever gets charged, they can change the shipping address and send it wherever they want. This is a very easy way for bad people to scam stupid people. So don't be a stupid person.
Don't be a stupid person. All right, let's take a look at this. So far, these are just the buy it now prices. This first one, confirmed pre-orders. This is an actual pre-order, $1,000 or best offer with $20 shipping. And you thought yours was expensive, Wes. We got $850 or best offer with free shipping, $900 or best offer, free shipping, $950 or best offer with free shipping, $930, $920, $850, $850. I'm looking. I saw the only reason I'm still going down this list, Wes, is because I saw earlier today that there was an auction going on that had already exceeded the retail price of a PlayStation VR2 bundle.
Wow.
Because you can put anything you want, right, for the buy it now. But the fact that people are actually paying more than sticker value already was what surprised me.
I would be curious to know if the people bidding on them were from North America or from other regions. Like, I could see people in Brazil maybe going that far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think if you're in North America or one of the selected territories, just take a deep breath. Another wave is coming. Just let this first window close. Give Sony a few days to assess orders versus projected stock, and then they'll send another wave out, I assure you. And then that's not even to think about the retails. Roots, he got an invite and chose not to use it. He wants to order from Amazon, so he just has the faith that he's going to be able to do that.
Well, in Root's defense, I will absolutely fucking order from Amazon if the option comes up, and if I'm able to cancel my order on Sony Direct once I get my Amazon pre-order, then I will absolutely do that, because I trust Amazon so much, because I've been a Prime member for like a decade or longer. And they are so good about getting me stuff on launch day with free 2-day shipping or whatever the deal is. I would much rather get it through Amazon, because I absolutely trust they'll have it here on launch day. No questions about it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. As soon as I see something from Amazon, I'm all in on it. And you're right, I'll cancel my other one if I don't just decide to keep both of them, which is a possibility. If this goes anything like the PSVR1, I'll probably just keep both of them.
It's interesting to see this over on eBay. I'm trying to put one and one together and hopefully come up with two. Germany is one of the places outside of the U.S. that Sony Direct was taking care of. And so it's interesting to see on eBay over here that this second auction that has 11 bids and is up to $855 is in Germany. It's in Germany. So I'm wondering if the PlayStation Direct site on Germany is sold out. I'm wondering. But I also think that people are very reactionary and maybe don't do research and are like, oh my God, they're available and they're expensive. That must mean that they're sold out. And so like I guarantee people are bidding on this thing without even checking to see if they're sold out, or potentially There's people in Germany, of course, that didn't get email.
Some people. I'm sorry, I keep stepping on you and then pulling it back and doing it all over again.
Talk sporadically to make it really difficult,
like
for you to figure out when
Captain
I'm done talking.
Kirk, or
come here,
or what's his name, Christopher Walken. Now I lost what I was going to say. Oh no, here. Not everyone got the email, man. Even people that got in early, some of them didn't get the invite. And they said not everyone would be selected, and they're right, because I signed up with 3 accounts, right? Mm-hmm. One of the accounts that I signed up with didn't get the invite. And it's just so happens to be the one that has the biggest PSVR library, the one I've been subscribed to the longest, and a active PS Plus member. No invite for that account.
Yeah, I know people for the last week have been speculating on exactly who's getting them, who's not getting them. I got DMs from people who were assuming that I got one because I run without Parole. And the AJ got one. I was like, yeah, but Wes and Miles didn't. So I was like, I think we can probably throw that theory out the window. Yeah, also, who was it? Nihilist Ryan at the beginning of this stream in the chat was like, maybe it's mostly people who got, maybe if you don't have PS Plus, maybe that's preventing people from getting the invites.
Nope, that's not it. Also
not it. So I have some responses from people saying, no, that's not it. Doesn't seem to be the case anyway. So, yeah, man, very, very interesting. It seems to be very, very, very random. Looper at the Underground Gamecat with the €2 totally just squashes my prediction. Says, I just checked out the German invite and it's still not sold out. So if you're one of these people bidding on bidding on a PlayStation VR2 on eBay, stop it. I don't know about you, Wes, but I am 100% convinced that Sony's not done sending invites out. That this thing isn't launching for another 3 months. Yes, pre-orders are live, but no, I don't think they're done sending the invitations out. I think they're going to keep going out, and I'm going to say pretty much anyone who wants one will probably be able to get one over the next couple months.
Not only that, but Polish Paul's most recent headline said that they're sending another wave for sure, and we all know that Polish Paul's infallible source of PSVR information.
I don't even want to joke about that to lend any credibility to that rumor at all. All right, let me just make sure we didn't miss any tips. I don't think we missed any tips. Hey, Wes, this has already been a really good show, man. I'm really happy with the way that this has gone. We haven't really started the show, but also at the same time, like I think we could probably just end it here, and everyone would be pretty happy. This is a good time.
This is the perfect show for the occasion. You know, everyone's just giddy, and not everyone. Most of us are just giddy and just wallowing in our good feeling here. So I feel like the episode is a good reflection of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, who's it? Delirium in the chat saying the pre-order stops after the 18th, right? So right. That's the pre-order period, and so it's perfect, right? That's enough time for Sony to gauge how many people did we send the invitation out to, how many people actually pre-ordered it, and now that these links are invalid for a certain number of people, how many more invitations can we send out? Because stock is limited to a certain degree. They need to know how many they need to make. They need to know. Oh, check the completed listings. That's a good idea, IR's history. I don't know why I didn't think to check that. We're going to see if anybody has actually bought them yet. But I do agree with you, Wes. You made the point that Sony can make more of these to meet demand. And I think they've said that publicly. They have said that they don't foresee any issues manufacturing more to meet demand. So even though they've kind of thrown out that 2 million number, it sounds like they can easily make more. There's not a whole lot of things keeping this from being like bogged down with the supply chain issues and all that, despite knowing what the SoC is now.
Yeah, it's they're outsourcing it. Like apparently every VR headset in the world is outsourced, and it's the same company making all of them. This Chinese company called Goretech. They're making PS5s, they're making Oculus Quest, Quest Pros, and apparently PSVR2, all in the same place. So if Sony wants more floor space in their factory, all they get to do is order it up.
It is funny, right? It's like there's all this competition in our faces, like Quest and PC and Sony and whoever else is getting into it, but Apple soon enough. And yeah, and behind the scenes, they're just all ordering from GoerTech. I love it.
How much would you love to be a QA manager at that plant?
I mean, I'd probably be fired because I'd be leaking things like the manual that no one cares about. Like, look, guys, the manual's being printed, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck cares?" Oh, and he's fired. God damn, he got fired for something no one gave a fuck about. That's a shame. Okay, crap. How do I do completed?
Yeah, I don't know. I buy everything on Amazon and nothing from eBay anymore.
I wish that I wasn't like 100 years old and could actually read the small print here. Let's see. I think the advanced option. We're gonna go to advanced. And click completed.
Someone
listings.
just asked if I got my pre-order. Yes, that's the whole
That's why we're here today.
That's the whole foundation of today's episode is Wes got his pre-order at the last hour, last minute. We finally got in there.
All right, here we go. I finally figured this out. Is it on the screen yet? No, it's on the screen. Okay, here's the completed listings. Here, let's figure this out. For whatever reason, PSVR, the PSVR is showing, PSVR 1s are showing up because people are throwing PSVR 2 either in the description or they're saying 2 controllers or whatever. But this is a search for PSVR 2s. Holy crap.
I'm sure there's a certain number of scam artists out there that are putting like a number 2 decal on the old PSVR and selling it as PSVR 2.
Yeah. This is crazy. They're all PlayStation VR 1s. Why is this just did I miss? Maybe I missed something.
Well, those are the only ones that are selling. Maybe that's the only ones that are selling. Maybe none of the other ones sold.
Oh, okay. Now after a couple of results, it said results matching fewer words. So it doesn't look like there's any completed PlayStation VR 2 listings. That's what I'm seeing here anyway. I don't know if that's true or not. But let's see. Is anyone calling it PSVR 2? No, PlayStation VR, PSVR 2 control. Oh, that's super sketchy. This listing says PlayStation VR space 2 controllers. It's like no comma, nothing to separate it. PSVR 2 controllers with PSVR.
Well, hey, you said you wanted an extra set of PSVR 2 controllers. There you go.
Oh my God. All right, let's get out of this. I'll switch back over here. We got a couple more tips to read. Let's take care of these. We got Jamie out in the chat with the $5 tips. He said, do you think, good segue, Jay, Saints and Sinners Chapter 1 and 2 is going to be the most immersive game on PSVR 2? I have a feeling that they'll be the best at implementing haptics. What do you think, Wes? Saints and Sinners 1 and 2 going to blow us away?
Well, I can say that the second one is certainly going to blow us away because we've seen what they're advertising here. We've read the blog post. We know that that's going to be a highly immersive game. And again, I'd like to point out that through the haptics and adaptive triggers, you're going to feel the chainsaw cut through the bone. Now, with regards to Chapter 1, the deluxe edition that's being bundled in, this is a bit of a revelation from yesterday that, I mean, we all assumed, right, that a game like that, among the very best of Gen 1, would get a PSVR 2 version. So, yeah, no big surprise there, but we have no info on it. And for the record, I reached out for more info and got nothing. Unsurprisingly, got nothing. So here's what I would say. I would expect next-gen features to come to the original, but there's no confirmation of that. And if this is something that you want, let your voice be heard. Leave comments. Make sure these developers know that we expect more of them. We want our haptics. We want our triggers. We want all of it. I mean, we'll let them slide with the eye tracking. We understand that's a bit more trouble, but they could give us the triggers and the haptics, right, Brian?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it was in ever since we found out that PSVR 2 wouldn't be backwards compatible with PSVR 1 games. This has been on everyone's mind. Like, what's going to happen to the best of the PSVR 1 games? You know, I'm sure I'm the only person that's going to care that Blind Spot doesn't get a PSVR 2 remake, right? It doesn't get HD visuals and haptics in the headset. It's sad because y'all should have played Blind Spot. It was a lot of fun. Nice escape room mechanics, but it was blurry. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that most people care about Astrobot. Most people care about Resident Evil 7. Most people care about Saints and Sinners. So it's really good that developers are finally starting to talk about what their plans are for these games and finding out seemingly on accident. Because, Wes, for anyone who doesn't know, here's what's going on. We found out that Saints and Sinners Chapter 1 is coming to PlayStation VR 2. There's still a lot of questions about that. But the way we found out about it is that it showed up on the PlayStation Store. First in Australia, when pre-orders for their headset went live, that showed up on the PlayStation Store, and then eventually over here in the States. And so it says, you can pre-order Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution, which is coming out officially in March. We got a release date on that. But then there's like this deluxe edition, and then there's like this mega deluxe edition that comes bundled with the first game for anyone who hasn't bought the first game yet. And the first game has PlayStation 5 plastered over it, so we're expecting a full PSVR 2 upgrade. I'm excited, man. I'm excited because I'm fully expecting us to be getting the PC VR version, and from all the trailers I've seen that look way better than the PSVR version, I'm excited because I'm expecting this to be the PC VR version with all of the settings maxed out. It's just going to look beautiful.
Yeah, the PC version is about the same amount of a step up that the PSVR version was over the Quest version.
Oof,
so
that's big.
It's a pretty significant difference, yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm happy to hear that, man. I'm happy to hear that. So wait, what was the actual question that Jay asked? Is it going to be the most immersive game on PSVR 2? Okay, I'm going to say no. I think this is obviously pure speculation, but I think that Call of the Mountain, the reason for its existence is to blow people the fuck away. Like, maybe it won't have the deepest gameplay mechanics. We don't know. Maybe the combat won't be nearly as deep as we want it to be. We don't know. These are a lot of questions that we still need to find out. Even the people who have played it and said, oh, the combat takes place in this ring, they only played 15 minutes of the game. We have no idea how that evolves or exactly what happens with the combat moving forward. And, the developer who said, oh, the core campaign's 6 or 7 or 8 hours, whatever he said if you beeline it, we don't even know how long the whole game takes we don't know what happens if you don't beeline it and you play all the side quests and you explore everything and you find all the collectibles the way that I want to play the game. So there's a lot about Call of the Mountain we don't know, but fuck all of that, because the question is Saints and Sinners going to be the most immersive game on PSVR? I don't think so, because Horizon's reason for existence is to blow people away the second they put that headset on for the first time. That's why it's bundled. That's why it looks like so much time was spent making these super detailed, beautiful worlds. That's why it's linear, right? To make sure that they can make it the best looking experience possible, to make it VR AF to a level we've never seen before, right? That's the reason Horizon exists, as far as I'm concerned. I could be wrong about that, but from everything we've seen, that's why it exists. And so I think that's going to be the most immersive game, and that's why Horizon will be the first game I play when my PSVR 2 gets here, because I want just the most incredible experience the first time I put that thing on. Do you agree, Wes, or do you have something else in mind?
I agree with everything that you just said, and I was about to say exactly the same thing. Look, this is a major Sony franchise. They would not gamble, the popularity of it or maybe overstaying its welcome by putting it into a half-assed VR game. This game is going to be intended to be a showcase of what's possible in VR in 2023, not just to the players. This is a showcase for everyone, including the developers and other studios out there. This is what we can do with VR now. There's a reason this game costs $60, Brian. It's because it's going to be the best thing that we've ever played up until that point. But I also think that it's going to be a nice peek into what's to come in the over the next couple of years, as more first-party studios release titles, as Unreal Engine 5, as more of those games come out. I think that this is our first look into what next-gen VR is. And VR gaming is all about immersive gaming. And for what it's worth, that they've kind of built PS5 up on the idea of immersive gaming. So I feel like this is just going to be the next level continuation of that. And you're right. Horizon is the showpiece. It's what they're pushing all of their marbles into as we go into launch. And I think it's going to be incredible. Unless unless there's another unannounced launch title that we don't know about yet.
I'm enjoying the silence because it may be silent here on the channel, but it is not silent in my brain. You're like, what launch titles? This has been a fun question on Twitter today. I think it's been pretty clear that Sony has said that there will be more launch titles, that they haven't announced them all. That the full launch lineup has not been revealed. What do you think could blow us away? What else do you think they could announce for launch day that could even hold a candle to Horizon?
No, now that's a tricky question because I mean, if you want me to name Sony franchises that I would love a VR game, we can do a whole episode on that.
We could,
but
let's not.
If you want me to name
right now.
something that's a major IP that I feel like is known for being immersed, really, there's just two titles that come to mind. One of them being Returnal, which is the only flat game I played on PS5, and it snatched me out of VR for a month. I played that game for over 100 hours. I was completely immersed through my screen and that controller. So that in VR would be amazing. The other thing I would say is The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. The Last of Us, super immersive world, gripping story, visceral gameplay. And, VR would just add to all of that and take it to a whole new level. I feel like if we got either of those, I think the immersion level would be be up to 11.
Yeah, I'm with you on The Last of Us. I think that's probably, in my head, The Last of Us is probably the only thing from Sony first party at least that could possibly trump Horizon Call of the Mountain because The Last of Us is, and there's no reason The Last of Us couldn't be, right? It's not open world. Not that it seems like open world would even be a problem on PSVR2, right? It seems as though nothing is really going to prevent games from coming to PSVR2. That hybrids will be totally fine. But The Last of Us seems like the perfect game to port over. And I know I've sort of said this before, so I'll make it brief. But playing The Last of Us Part 1 in first person, those stealth elements, listening for the clickers, just insanely scarier in first person VR when you actually have to use your ears more than just looking for the outlines on the walls. I think they could probably convey that. Maybe still have the outlines as an accessibility option, but to really just be man, you have the option to play this with just headphones in the VR headset and listen for your enemies with your ears only and not have the visual cues. Yes, still have the option for everything else, because not a lot of people are able to play with headphones. Some have kids; they need to make sure that their kids aren't killing each other while they're playing games, right? So there's a lot of reasons to not have this be forced. However, it would be a great option. People saying Gran Turismo 7. I feel like that's a no-brainer. I don't think there's too many people out there, I think, who don't care as much about sim games and would much rather have an arcade racer. That's me all over the place. I would much rather have an arcade racer than a simulation. But I will absolutely get into this simulation if they give us full VR support. That's a game that I will take a couple hours away at every single day. It'll be my new Days Gone. I've been playing Days Gone every day for an hour and a half before bed. Gran Turismo 7 will take that place if we get that in VR. Are you a sim racer guy, Wes, or are you more of an arcade guy?
I tried to get into it, man. I even bought the whole wheel and pedal setup last year so that I could do more of that sort of thing. But I still really haven't gotten into it. Played a little Dirt Rally, a couple other titles. Nothing grabbed me quite the way that Wipeout did. The arcade racer and Dash and all these other more casual games. But I'm not opposed to it, and I think you're right. I think something like this might be able to finally grab me and drag me into that world. It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, agreed. It would be nice. It would be nice to have. I'm such a big Ridge Racer fan. I think one of the best racing games ever made was the Ridge Racer on PSP, which kind of combined all of the PS1 games into one better looking game. And so something like that, I would love if Namco made a Ridge Racer VR game, something with a deep campaign. Because what I want from Gran Turismo 7 is the deep campaign, the slow grind and unlocking of all these different vehicles. There's always that carrot at the end of the stick. Like that's why Fortnite roped me in for the last couple months, was because there was always something to unlock. There was always something to strive for. You were leveling up fast. They were constantly giving you XP for everything. And I feel like a Gran Turismo in VR would kind of satisfy that same urge. But if they could do that in an arcade game instead with a deep campaign, God, you would definitely have me. Absolutely. Thinking about Grand Theft Auto 5, but that's obviously not first party. So maybe it's time to move it out of first party stuff, because I think Grand Theft Auto 5 is the number one third party game that people would want in first person VR.
Yeah. Yeah, in all of VR, this is kind of the one thing, and I want to specify here, there needs to be the online component. People need to be able to put on their headset and live out their darkest fantasies. You want to go kill a hooker and do some blow? You can do that. No repercussions. It's the Westworld promise, Brian, that you can go into VR and do whatever you want and be whatever you want. And I don't know, have you ever watched like the Grand Theft Auto role play things? There's people like special servers for the PC Grand Theft Auto where people just live their lives in Grand Theft Auto. And some of them go and they just work at convenience stores and live to get robbed and murdered or whatever. And then there are other people who go through police academies and train to be police officers. There are career criminals. People live in this game.
I love it.
And that's flat. That's just flat. Imagine being in VR, man. That would be so awesome. And I think it would really, really rope a lot of people into VR.
Yeah. Oh, having the campaign in VR would be one thing. Absolutely be like, oh, I would just, I've always wanted to play through Grand Theft Auto 5. I never have. I don't know why. I think it's because I bought Grand Theft Auto 4, and the same thing happened with Grand Theft Auto 4 as it did with Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City and San Andreas. And that's that I started playing. They'd send me on a mission, and I'd just get wildly distracted for hours and go, wait, what the fuck was the mission? And I would never make any progress in those games. But I feel like I've evolved a little bit as a gamer, and I can kind of handle my open worldness a little bit more. I can reel it in order to actually accomplish missions. And so So if I did get that in VR, I'd be really happy. But yeah, to make sure that it was something that everybody wanted to play, having Grand Theft Online be playable in first-person VR, absolutely, man. I've heard so many stories from friends who love the game, and just things that like the stories that are told about that game aren't things that the game is delivering. You're not listening to the story being delivered over a radio or there's it's not about the cutscenes. It's about the interactions you have with your friends and what happens in the process, right? It's this, you kind of make the stories yourself. And dude, I want that so much. I want that so much in VR. I would kill for it. Not kill. I would maim for it.
I agree.
Good to be specific. 2 tips to read off here. We got Nihilist Ryan Game Feline with the $5 tip says, my theory as to why I didn't get the email. I love that we're watching in real time Nihilist Ryan come up with new conspiracy theories. My theory as to why I didn't get the email has moved on to the fact that I live on the West Coast. It's got to be it. It's gonna be. I don't think anybody on the West Coast got their emails. I think you nailed it, Nihilist Ryan. Now you're able to sleep and move to the East Coast, man.
If it was up to me, that would be exactly why I didn't send anyone there. I mean, wait, what are you still doing there, man? Everyone else has left. Come on, bro.
Right, move to Texas. I hear it's cool in Texas, except for
Austin,
the weather,
Texas.
which is not cool. Looper, the Underground Gamecat with the €2 says, in all capital letters, by the way, Ragnarok VR. I'd be down, man. I'd be down. Still, it's crazy to me to think that the very first thing we ever saw running on PSVR1 was a tech demo of God of War. The developers created a God of War tech demo and showed that off when Shuhei revealed the PSVR during, was it that GDC convention? They like, and he goes, and here, check this shit out. And the first video they played was God of War being played in first person and everything. It's almost 7 years later. We've gotten 2 God of War games since, and no God of War VR. What the fuck is happening? And this is kind of like part of the bigger question, right? We know that there was a Killzone VR game in development that was over at Supermassive Games. Sony pulled that back. They weren't happy with the way that things were going. They pulled that back in to develop it first party. And really, outside of that, there weren't exactly a lot of first party IPs that were thrown into VR, right? We got a little bit on Gran Turismo Sport. We got Drive Club, but that wasn't what I'd call like this amazingly successful IP. Evolution Studios, or whoever was it, Evolution, they got shut down soon after, like right after the Drive Club VR launch. And then Wipeout, which was just Omega ported into VR, which Omega itself was a port basically of 3 old Wipeout games. So like they didn't exactly put their best foot forward when it came to first party IPs. And I wonder if that God of War demo, or that tech demo, or that proof of concept, or whatever you want to call it, ever got expanded on, and Sony just wasn't happy with how their first party stuff would be treated in VR. Like it was like a downgrade, and they were like, we'll do this next gen.
Well, it would make sense. It would make sense to do it now. So they release a big flat sequel to the Horizon series, and then a year later, we get the Horizon VR game. They announce a big flat sequel to the God of War series. What do you think? Maybe next year at Christmas, we're talking about the upcoming God of War VR game? Possibly.
I mean, it would be really nice, right? Like they could I was going to say they could easily do a hybrid version of God of War 2016 or Ragnarok. But there would have to be gameplay changes made. Like there's a lot going on in that game. There'd have to be gameplay changes made, but I'm wondering how many gameplay changes. Mark Doust in the chat says something that sounds simple on the surface. But once I thought about it, I was like, you know what, you might be right. Mark Dow says, Brian, come on, it's because of the controllers. I don't think Sony realized at any point, I mean, considering the games that they brought out, right? They brought out games where you could just kind of stand in one spot, where you were either you were in a mech, or you were in a vehicle, or you were or the motion was being controlled for you, a la Blood and Truth. They didn't have. I don't think Sony ever had faith in gamers to be able to use the move controllers the way that they eventually became used for. Right? I don't think anyone at Sony ever had faith that that gamers were going to adapt to moving around in VR by pushing buttons. But man, we did what we had to do. The PSVR faithful did exactly what they had to do. And some developers out there, like Skydance with Saints and Sinners, trusted us enough to say, these guys fucking love this shit, right? End Dreams with Fract trusted us enough to say, these guys love this shit, and they'll figure it out, man. They will make it happen because they love this enough. I think Sony is a little more reserved and said, oh man, we can't do full locomotion with this shit. and that's probably, I think you're right, Mark Dust, because Sony doesn't look at PSVR the same way that we look at PSVR, or at least they didn't. Weren't able to get that perspective with enough time to develop AAA games or first party games. By the time they figured it out or saw that people were actually playing these games, it was probably too late.
I think the truth of the matter is, in Sony's eyes, PSVR 1 was really PSVR 0.5. I think PSVR over the last 6 years has pretty much been the beta test for VR on PlayStation, and we're just now getting what PlayStation VR should really be. If you're going to put PlayStation on the box, we should have a Horizon game at launch, or a big IP at launch. We should have state-of-the-art equipment. Last year was just PS3, or last gen PS3 leftovers. No real push in terms of software. Let's just see how people take it, how it does. If people buy into it just on the immersion alone of being in the game. And I think in terms of expectations, they viewed it as a relative success. And that's why Sony believes in VR today and why they're continuing to persist with it. So I feel like this is really the debut for Sony PlayStation VR in many ways. Yeah,
I think you're right. And I think developers took PSVR much further than Sony ever expected anybody to. And so shout out to all the developers who pushed things far with PSVR 1. Dude, up until about 2 months ago, I would still get occasional comments on the channel being like, how do you move around? Like, just that would be the whole comment. Like, they'd see me running around in VR, and they'd be like, how do you move around? And I'd be like, what do you,
Impossible.
right? Like, what do you mean? How do I move around? I'm like, the same way we've been moving around for like 5 years, man. It's like, you hold the button down and you point. And I know for a lot of people, like, we had no idea that was a thing. There's no analog stick. So that must mean none of these games support any kind of movement whatsoever. It's kind of an awakening for a few people out there. So,
most developers figured it out, but we saw from Golem, who was very early in development in the PSVR life cycle, that they had a very different idea of how to move in VR with no thumbsticks. And let's just say I like the way Saints and Sinners and Skyrim did it a little better.
Yeah. Oh man, we just talked about this, I think, on Monday's show. But I would kill for I'd kill for Golem to get another chance. I hope Highwire, is it Highwire? I hope they're paying attention, and I hope. I mean, Golem was such a good game. All it needs is a better control scheme. Just up-res those visuals a little bit, man. I think the impact of those blades hitting each other and fighting the other golems, I think would feel incredible with the Sense controllers. So I really, really hope that they do that, because the game just didn't get the love it deserved. Sadly.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. That is a AAA quality game on PSVR 1. The movement style kind of breaks it. Not really, and really it wasn't even the movement scheme. The tracking isn't precise enough to do what they wanted to do with that. Like if it were perfectly tracked, then the kind of leaning in thing would have worked, but it's not. And it varies from setup to setup. Of course, I'm sure your results may vary. But once I dug my nav controller up and started playing with that, it was a great game. The sense of scale in it is breathtaking. The story's great. The production's wonderful. I mean, it's a great game in a lot of ways.
It really is. It really is. The nav controller, absolutely. Like, I mean, the fact that you have to hold the DualShock 4 in one controller, in one hand, it's just, that sounds fine, I think, until you do it. You're like, move controller in one hand, DualShock in the other. That sounds fine until you play for more than 5 minutes, and you're like, man, just this thing is so weighty or off balance in my hand that it just never feels comfortable. The nav controller was an excellent. It was one of the few games that used the nav controller, and it was actually perfect. But again, it would be great to have two hands in that game, and just be able to use the analog stick. It'd be awesome. So. We got two more tips. Josh Cat with the $2 tip says, "The West Coast is the best coast." Tupac quote. I can't agree with the whole West Coast. I mean, that's a very generalized statement. I think if you go too far,
Seattle's
south,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Seattle's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, you go too far south, it starts getting too hot, man. I'm an indoor cat. I like my cold weather. It's starting to get perfect here. It just snowed the other day. I was like, holy shit, it snowed. I looked out the window. I was like, when did it snow? The cars were covered. This is great. This is my time of year, man. Fall and winter. The rest of the seasons can suck it. So yeah, you go too far north, man. Too far south. But I mean that applies to the East Coast as well. So it's really the Northeast and Northwest. I mean, I think we're going too deep with this. Bogey Cat Productions with the £2 says, "We seriously need Power Wash Simulator on PSVR2. How great would that have been with the aim controller? It would have been great with the aim controller. It's just like a Ghostbusters game. Oh man, PSVR 1 missed its calling. Could have been a Power Wash Simulator and a Ghostbusters Simulator. The aim controller.
I still don't quite get the fascination with work simulations. I think these people just need to get jobs. Then they won't want to play. Let's pretend to work while they're in VR.
Right. Looper the Underground Gamecat with the €2 says, DualShock 4 and Move in Golem worked fine for me. Seated. That's an excellent addition to that comment, Looper. Seated, I think you can rest the DualShock on your leg, right? The part that you're not holding can just rest on your leg. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, I can see that working totally fine. I just play everything standing up now. I hate that I'm not the same person I used to be. When Resident Evil 7 first came out, I played that shit sitting down on a couch, and I loved it. I don't know. I stand in
Polar
VR.
opposite.
I know.
I stand only when I need to.
All right.
It doesn't immerse me. I feel like, I mean, we'll try not to have a big conversation about this, but standing doesn't immerse me anymore because I'm not walking. I'm still standing in one spot, and I can't let go because if I let go, I'm going to break my TV or my wall or something. So just standing and not walking while I'm walking in game, I don't find that to be any more immersive, and it hurts my feet. So why don't I just sit down anyway, right? That's my take on it, and we're all different. I'm not saying you're doing it wrong or anyone else. That's just for me. That's how it works for me.
Wes, I'm about to do something. They can only see you right now, so put on a good face in case you get frozen. I'm about to do something that could totally crash this whole stream. So,
My turn to host, isn't it?
oh, is it? I forgot to check. But we're live. So,
Ah,
listen, I think that's the first time I ever predicted. That's the first time I ever predicted that we were going to crash. So, I'm finally learning what causes it. That's pretty good.
you have the gift. You have the gift, Brian.
Now, if I could just have the gift of keeping it from crashing, that would be the best thing ever. Hey, let's check in with this poll before we move on to 20 questions. And plus, in case you need to pick out a game because you are hosting it today,
That's a good call.
this will give you some time. So we asked at the beginning of the show, did you order a PSVR 2 yet? 54% of you did. 615 votes. Thank you, everybody, for voting. That's a great number. 615 people voted. 54% of you said, yes, I pre-ordered through Sony Direct. 13% of you said that you ordered through another retailer. So out of the people who said yes, 67% of you, that's 2/3 of the viewership today, have pre-ordered their PSVR 2. For the people who said no, let's see, 28% of the entire poll said no, but I want to, and only 5% of you said no, and I don't want to. That's a huge number, man. Again, I know we're in a bubble here. Where the without parole bubble is the PSVR faithful, probably the people who are most likely to pre-order a PSVR 2. So this is not indicative of like the gaming populace as a whole. However, it's very good to see that a lot of you get your pre-orders and that some of you are still trying to pre-order. Good luck to everybody who hasn't gotten theirs yet. I'm going to end that poll.
I think the vast majority of the people that registered the day that they announced pre-orders, I think got their invite. Not everyone, obviously. Again, not all of my accounts that I registered on that day got an invite, but I think the majority of them did, and I think that's why the numbers are so high in our community, because obviously we were the ones there clicking on it on day one.
Yeah, absolutely. Wes, are you ready for PSVR 20 questions?
I am now ready for PSVR 20 questions.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to put up excuse me, I got to mute myself when I burp. I'm going to put up a 6-minute clock on the show. And that means, guys, Wes has a PSVR game in his head. Sadly, every time we do this, I forget every PlayStation VR game I've ever played immediately. So I'm going to need all the help I can get because we only have 20 yes or no questions to figure out what PSVR game Wes is thinking of. And of course, only 6 minutes. I really think the timer, Wes, I know you said you don't care about it, but I do. And I think the timer is more of an enemy than the questions. We almost never run out of questions. We almost always run out of time. So at some point, maybe we'll have to switch this to a 10-minute timer or something.
That's all AJ. AJ's the one that runs the clock, not me.
That's true. Do we have... There it is. Okay. Well, let's do this. Everybody help me out with good questions in the chat, and based on the answers we get from those questions, give me some good suggestions. Maybe we'll figure out what this game is fast. I think we figured out Farpoint in like 5 or 6 questions Monday, so not too bad. Wait a minute. Why was I guessing on Monday? Who the fuck cares? On your mark. Get Des. Go. There it is. Where's the timer? Sorry, Ian Stambridge got me distracted. And here we are running down the clock already. He's telling me that I bork like a dog. Or he's saying that I don't bork like a dog. Does this game use analog sticks?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, no analog sticks, so we're just gonna assume moves only. That's what we're gonna assume. Maybe we'll be right, maybe we'll be wrong. Is this a puzzle game? Or does it have puzzles in it?
I wouldn't think of it as a puzzle game. There might be one in it somewhere, but
Okay.
no, it's not a puzzle game.
Not a puzzle game. Do you mostly do shooting in this game? A lot of shooting?
No, you don't do a lot of shooting in this game, no.
Okay, so there might be shooting, but there's mostly other stuff.
Maybe. And it's not a shooter.
Okay. Is there any level of horror to this game? Is it spooky? Takes place in zombies? It's scary? Anything? Any horror to this?
Not much. I mean, there might be some peripheral spookiness, spiritualism somewhere in the game, but that's not what the game's built around at all.
All right, you guys heard him say spiritualism. I don't know how it's going to help us, but I feel it's going to help us.
This will help you more. Okay, I'm going to give you a bonus here. When you look at the rating, there's blood, intense violence, sexual themes, and use of tobacco.
I like sexual things. Use of tobacco, you guys. All right, it's Blood and Truth. Oh, wow, Braxpro said the same thing. It's not Blood and Truth because that uses the DualShock as well. And
Shooter, Brian.
Also true. Look at that. All right, but good guess. We're on to a good spot. I can't think of too many games that have smoking in them. So let's keep that in mind. Use of tobacco. Okay, we have so many more questions to go. Was this game developed by? Did this studio make any other PSVR games?
I don't think so. Not that I know. I'm going to say no and try to look into it while you ask the next question.
Sure.
I don't know of another title on PSVR that the studio worked on.
Is there any? Would you say this game has cartoony graphics, or graphics that aren't striving for realism? So some kind of stylized or cartoony graphics.
They're a little bit stylized, but I think that they are going for an immersive type of realism. It's not photo real, but it's a very realistic style of artistic cartoonism.
Okay, so we have some kind of realism going with the art design, and it's moves only.
It looks significantly more real than Borderlands 2.
Okay, it's Borderlands 3, you guys. Shit.
You got it.
Ooh, Old Darth, is it based on a known IP, and that's within gaming or outside of gaming?
No, and that's 6 if I count correctly.
Yeah, I got 6 as well. Crap. Okay, so it's not LA Noire. It's not Here They Lie. Is there like would you say this is narrative driven? Is there a campaign where you progress through the story, or like rather than it being level based or arcade based?
There's definitely a story at play here.
Would you say that you stare at NPCs talking to you that deliver this story? NPCs could also include a radio in a bus somewhere. Not a zombie game.
The story is being told to you by someone. I'm not sure if that's done in the actual game with somebody's in front of you speaking the words at you, but there is someone telling you the story.
Okay.
In the game.
Shades of Grey Matter asks, is it a PSVR exclusive?
It is a PlayStation VR exclusive.
Whoa. Okay, guys, PSVR exclusive is not. I mean, there's a bunch of them. We got to figure out what you're doing. It's not Song and Smoke. Okay, I'm just gonna go with Old Darth because I don't know what he's going with here. Is there time travel?
I think so.
No.
That's 10
okay.
on my count.
This eliminates so many games knowing it's a PSVR exclusive. Can't be Red Matter. Yeah, I'm too focused on tobacco too, Dan. Hitman's not PSVR exclusive.
You thought I was helping you, but I was really distracting you.
Is there any? It's not Hitman, but is there any stealth in this game? It's not Hitman. Let's keep that in mind.
There is some stealth in this game.
Okay. Is it focused on? Are there destructible? Do weapons? Is there any crafting? Let's go with there. Is there any crafting in this game?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Is the combat based more on? Is there a lot of combat? You said not a lot of shooting. Is there a lot of combat?
There is a moderate amount of combat. Yes.
Moderate.
Yeah. There's a combat in this game, and some would even say maybe a lot.
Okay.
If you decide not to be too stealthy, which again, there's stealth in the game.
All right. Is there? Listen, I'm just going to throw this out there because we are out of time. Is it Arashi Castles of Sin?
You got it, bro.
No
it
way.
It is Arashi Castles of Sin.
That's fucking amazing. That is amazing because I absolutely would not have gotten that, but the chat was all saying Arashi just down to the buzzer, and so I figured I'd throw it out there. I didn't even really have time to check against all the different clues we had, but that's phenomenal. I'm gonna call that a win because I was waiting for you to finish talking, and then the timer went off. We're calling that a win.
Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Subsequently, shout out to our friends at Endeavor One, still waiting on their invite to get their non-dev kit personal use PlayStation VR2.
Our friends / traders at Endeavor One who helped bring Iron Man VR to the Quest. Just kidding. We fucking love you guys, and we're really, really happy that. What's up? They
also brought full locomotion to Iron Man VR, so you should be thanking them.
Yeah. I hear they made all sorts of improvements in that game. So that's good to hear. It sounds like my review for Iron Man VR does not apply to the Quest version. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys. This has been a really fun show. I love shows like this where we get to really just really hang out. I feel like everybody in the chat was really, really participating in this show. Sometimes the chat is like having their own conversation, man, that has nothing to do with us. And when I say sometimes, I mean like literally every single day of the week. So it was awesome to like bring you guys in and have you guys contribute to the show as much as Wes and I were. So thank you very, very much for being here. Shades of Great Memory says, I'd love for Arashi to get a PSVR 2 port. Let's make that happen, Endeavor One. Free PSVR 2 upgrade for all the loyal PSVR 1 owners of your game. Come on, make it happen. I think that was funded by Sony, though, so that would have to be... I think Sony would have to give the A-OK on that one. Where's the tobacco in Arashi? Jay's not going to let this go. I'm trying to think, where is... There's smoke. I mean, I know that there's some scene transitions with smoke. Is it one of the characters smoking, and then that's where the smoke comes from, or is that fog? Or
probably.
I don't remember what's happening. Wes, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. What's happening over in the world of Virtual Strangers, guys? Go subscribe to Virtual Strangers and find out yourself. But if you don't already subscribe, Wes is going to tell you why you should.
Well, it's actually quite interesting, Brian, because we're in a rare situation tonight where there's 4 new releases this week. And yet no one has given us permission to break embargo and go live with any of them tonight. We can't even talk about any of them. So I told you before we went live, if you can't be first, what do we do, Brian?
Be last?
Be last.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't be first, be last. So we're not going to do Strangers in the Night tonight. Instead, we are going to stream live gameplay. We're going to start with Among Us. So if you guys want to hang out, you want to play Among Us, meet us over on the Discord. Watch for the link to go up on YouTube. We're going to be playing some Among Us in just a couple hours. After that, I'm going back to The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Aftershocks, and we're going to get through as much of that as we can before the sun comes up. So we've got a nice doubleheader live gameplay going on tonight. And then we're going to return to Strangers in the Night next week and cover 4 new releases. Some of which are bangers, or at least seem like they might be. We're going to talk about Aspire 2. We're going to talk about Lawn, which launches tomorrow, and then some casual multiplayer games like Broken Edge from Trebuchet and Forever Pool.
Hey, Wes, I heard you were having some issues with Aftershocks on your live stream.
What issues would these be? Remind me.
I don't know. Just heard you were struggling.
Oh, I did die a couple of times. Maybe that's what people are talking about. Like I got killed. Like I think it was maybe the second mission that I went into, the one in the high school. I got through it, found all the stuff I went after, died on my way out, and like as I was dying, I grabbed my last weapon off the thing. So when I spawned back in to go get my pack, I had no weapons. Nothing at all.
I tuned in for this, like right when you were trying to get your weapon, trying to get your pack. Yeah, and you were not happy about that.
No, I was not.
Yeah.
But then they reminded me, hey, Wes, you can just load in and do it over again, which is what I did.
Perfect.
And we all lived happily ever after.
Nice. Yeah, I was...
Is that cheating? It's cheating, right? I cheated.
Fuck it, man. Fuck it. Enjoying the game is more important than doing it the way that they want you to. That's what save games are for, kind of. Not really, right. But that sort of.
That's what emulators have done to me, Brian. Being a retro gamer, you get that save state, and games that never had a save state before, now you can save any second of it, this has kind of ruined me for a while.
Yeah, dude, I was playing Pokemon Pinball on Game Boy Advance last night, and I was using save states when I was doing really well. I was like, I think I'm really fucking cheating at pinball because that's not how pinball's supposed to work. You're not supposed to save when you're doing well. Like, you're not supposed to save, period. So, yeah, I'm with you. Retro gaming with save states is infinitely more fun. But yes, it is cheating. Oh, I see the light. It says it's not cheating, and we trust. I see the light implicitly. We
Feel
actually
better now.
We actually just in case you haven't realized how amazing Discord is yet. Yesterday we were in voice chat, and I see the light was at work, right, like stocking at a warehouse or something, and he wanted to be part of voice chat and just set up his phone in the corner of the room so we could watch him work while we were just hanging out in voice chat. I'm just saying, I don't think anyone has done that yet. And so there was just this video feed while I was working yesterday, watching I See the Light at his job. So,
Respect.
Voice chat's fun, man. Come join the Discord. All right, Wes, it's time to get out of here. Don't forget, you guys, go subscribe to Wes Dillon over at Virtual Strangers, where him and his friends are platform agnostic and talk about all sorts of things, not just PSVR 1 or 2, but pretty much everything under the sun, which eventually won't matter because PSVR 2 is going to rule the world. But for now, Go pay attention. And also thank you to everybody who makes this channel run. Dude, I already mentioned Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry, who gets timestamps into this fucking ridiculously long show every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Jay Meow, who gets this up for your oral pleasure. I'm sorry. On podcast services of your choice. This is going down the wrong path. Thankfully, we're almost done. And of course,
down the wrong path.
Yeah. Yep. Dark path is my driveway. And all the moderators who make my life so much easier, not just here, but over on Discord as well. We love you so very much. Guys, thank you to everybody who hung out, watched the show today, participated in the chat, sent supports on Patreon, sent tips, and contributed to the topics of the show. And of course, guys, don't forget all the people who are out there watching the show. Don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Happy West Day, Wes.
Happy West Day, Brian. I'll see you soon, bro.
What are you giggling about over there?
Nihilist Ryan, the game line says, going all the way down. I try so hard not to bring my toilet humor and mom jokes over here on the your side of YouTube, but sometimes you guys just drag me into it.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like without Parole was founded on toilet humor, and then at some point we lost our way and kind of cleaned up our act a little bit. I think when people started watching, right. I will never say that wasn't a mistake because it was. We should have cleaned up our act.
Well, we had this option, right? Because we over the years we've had occasionally someone say, "Hey, man, I love your content. You guys really know your stuff. I want to watch your show with my family, but I can't."
Yep.
And every time this comes up, we have that decision to make. Do we put a muzzle on? Do we censor ourselves? And sometimes on Sunday we try to keep it a little more tame, but sometimes we stray off that path. On Wednesday when we're on after midnight, no holds barred, balls to the wall. Sunday we do try to hold our tongue a little bit though.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's interesting. I like it. Like, if you're on a late night, it's like, well, it's Virtual Strangers at night. I feel like, no hold bars, but I don't know, man. I think too many people watch on their own time, right? It's like, yes, we've got a couple hundred viewers watching right now, but like most of the 3,000 or 4,000 views that happen for this show will kind of happen on people's own time. So like this show could be watched in somebody's house on a Sunday midday.
That's true.
And to those people, I'm going to say, I apologize because we're not ever changing.
It's true, and we're not all that clean on Sunday. I mean, this past Sunday, I think I might have offended a developer and inadvertently called them an asshole when I didn't know that they were in the chat. So, oops. But so, yeah, we're not super clean. But I will say this, if I ever get the opportunity to go into it full time, I might start doing like a clean version or do like a clean channel.
Yeah.
That's just the straight dope without all the poop jokes and mom jokes that we like to infuse in every story that we cover.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Fuck everyone. We love you guys too much to censor ourselves. And that's how we're ending this show. Good night, everybody. We love you.